It's no secret that Guilty Gear Strive is one of the most highly anticipated fighting games of 2021, but you ever stop and wonder why? The answer to that question might be a bit straightforward, but I imagine that there's a lot of people who maybe have only heard of the game in passing. So I'm here to explain why, at the very least, I'm excited to play it. I spent an enormous amount of time getting beat up during the open betas, and if you didn't get a chance to play them for yourself, I'll give you a quick rundown of what I found most enjoyable about the game, before moving on to the other two reasons why I'm so excited for it. As far as fighting games go, any game that lets me put a lot of emphasis on knockdown pressure, i.e. just bullying my opponent when they're trying to stand up, help me, is pretty enjoyable to me. The longevity of gameplay becomes apparent when there are multiple routes to achieve this goal. Again, this is just for me at least. Now, it's no secret that Strive has limited the ways that you can lead to a hard knockdown, but the game didn't remove them entirely. And in my opinion, it is completely redeemed by the fact that Arc System Works has included the single coolest fighting game mechanic I have ever experienced: Drift Roman Cancels, or Drift RC. What is Drift RC, you ask? Well, it's an evolution of the normal animation cancel system Guilty Gear is known for. By spending 50% of your meter, you can cancel any action you're currently doing and reset your character back to a neutral state, where you can do any move you want. Drift RC is that, but by inputting a dash in any direction, you can carry that dash momentum with you. It reminds me of wave shining in Melee. Now, there are other changes to the RC system in Strive, but I want to focus on Drift RC because of the effects it has on the game's physics system, and more directly, how that relates to mixing up my opponent after I've knocked them down. I mean, look at some of this stuff. Because of mechanics like this, Strive is a game that I want to take pretty seriously, competitively speaking, which segues nicely into my next 2 points: narrative and the tournament scene. First, what do I mean by narrative? The secret sauce to any good fight scene is the story the fight tells. Action with no direction can be cool, but it's often not super satisfying without proper build-up. A game with a lot of build-up around it was Granblue Fantasy Versus. For a brief moment in time, it felt like everyone was playing this game. Street Fighter players, Dragon Ball players, Gear players, Melee players, etc. Upon the game's release, it seemed like it had everything going for it. The hype was matched by the player base until an unfortunate worldwide circumstance stopped offline events from happening, and the game's poor netcode shot its own kneecaps. Granblue is still around today, but not nearly in the same way. This period of Strive is reminding me of those early Granblue days, but to an even bigger level. Because of the godlike netcode, we're entering into a new generation of fighting games. This is the first time we're going to have so many legends from different backgrounds combined with up-and-comers, now all with the ability to consistently compete against one another outside of majors. The level of consistent high stakes and high profile matches we're going to see is quite literally unprecedented. The narrative that Granblue had going for it, with the promise of top players from many different regions and all sorts of games coming together, is already being fulfilled in Strive. The Red Bull event is the perfect example of this. A lot of people who watch my channel are also part of the Guilty Gear Plus R Discord, and if you are, you know that there are events happening pretty much every day. In fact, in many cases, there are multiple events happening just hours apart from each other. Each day of the week, there's always some crazy gear going on, and there's no reason to believe Strive won't just take that up to the next level. Which brings me to my third and final point: the tournament scene. The Guilty Gear community is the most positive and encouraging community I've ever been a part of. In the grand scheme of things, I'm relatively new to the franchise. While I've played fighting games ever since I could remember, I got my true competitive start by hosting Smash Weeklies at my university. We would occasionally have Marvel or BlazBlue side events, but for a decent period of time, Smash was my main game. This channel started as just a VOD channel for the online Melee weeklies I ran with a few buddies in our small town's FGC Discord. But when Rollback for Accent Core was announced, I decided, hey, why not include it too? The Discord grew, and here we are. Gear is one of my favorite fighting game franchises of all time, and I feel like it is in no small part to how helpful and open the community is. I've been able to meet so many cool players and learn about the game through them, commentate other events, play against all sorts of players, and now all these experiences make me want to be that much more involved in the tournament scene for this upcoming title. I have so many ideas and formats I want to run for both Plus R and Strive. This is only the beginning, and naturally I can't wait to compete as well, which is potentially the biggest factor outside of the amazing netcode that is playing into the hype of this title. There's this restlessness that is brewing in the community to return to offline events. While we are not over this global issue yet completely, the vaccines are slowly being rolled out, and precautions are being taken, and small local events are on the horizon. CEO is already confirmed to be happening at the end of this year, as well as Frosty Faustings in January of next. The same factor that caused Granblue's abrupt demise is the one that's now breathing so much excitement into the Guilty Gear community. I know that I'm looking forward to competing, organizing tournaments, and making content around this game. And hopefully, if you made it this far into the video, you're a bit excited too. So with that, thanks for watching.